Buying phones nowadays is a pain in the asparagus. There are so many expensive devices to choose from, and it's easy to feel like you're making the wrong decision. Let me help you with that decision. If you're looking for a great, cheap phone, just get this. This is the OnePlus N100, and it costs just $180 US or 240 Canadian. And at this price point, it's awesome. After watching reviews on this phone myself, I feel like it doesn't get the love it deserves. I think a lot of people reviewing these phones spend a lot of time with the latest and greatest phones, which makes it difficult for them to review this phone objectively. And that could be scaring a lot of people away from buying it, which is a shame because this phone is awesome and extremely affordable. I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad, so since we're only on one income, we need to make sure everything we buy is loaded with value, and that's why this phone caught my eye. So, in a time where $1,000 and up is the standard for a premium phone, should you cough up all that dough, or could you get by with a phone like this? Let's find out.
Daddy, 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 Daddy!
Phone tech is a funny thing. Each year, phones have to get better and better because that's what technology is supposed to do. However, our needs for phones haven't really changed much over the last few years. We still use them mostly for the same things: social media, watching videos, snapping some pics, shopping, gaming, and chatting. Which is why, in my opinion, value phones like these are really worth considering since they can do all of those things just fine. The main sacrifice you are making when you buy a phone like this is it won't have a killer camera and it won't have the fastest processor. So you may have to wait a split second or two if you move around really fast on your phone, but it's still snappy. That's pretty much it. There are a few little features missing, which I will get to shortly, but you probably won't even notice those. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy a more expensive phone. I have a Samsung Note 9, which was close to $1,500 just 3 years ago. We bought the N100 for my wife, and using the N100 after my Note 9 doesn't feel like a huge step down, which is pretty incredible. So let me talk about why it's so good. First, it has a big, bright screen. It's 6.52 inches with a reasonable bezel, so it looks good. But it's not so big where it doesn't feel uncomfortable while holding it. It's not a one-handed phone though, and it sits pretty big in your pocket. The screen is 90 Hz as opposed to the normal 60 Hz of a lot of phones. That just more or less means it has 90 frames a second compared to 60, which makes animations feel smoother and snappy. It's not the craziest resolution, but whatever, everything looks good on it. It's awesome for YouTube or Instagram. The brightness is fine for daytime, and pictures and colors look good. It has the hole punch camera, so there's tons of real estate. It is loud. It has dual speakers. They might not be the best quality speakers, but to me the volume is the most important, and they get the job done. You have higher anxiety, you have less patience, food doesn't taste as good, color is boring. The processor isn't anything special, but it's fine. If you are zipping through apps all at once or scrolling super fast through social media, you might have to wait a moment, but it has 4 gigs of RAM, which is sufficient for most users. You can play games, switch to a picture, then back to social media. It can handle it. Now, maybe the best feature is it has a huge 5,000 milliamp battery. This bad boy could easily last people 2 to 3 days without charging. And this is where not having the fastest processor actually benefits it. Since it's not sipping as much power running the phone, it makes that already massive battery last even longer. You will rarely run out in a day, even if you're a power user. It has an adequate camera. It doesn't do video at 4K or 60 frames per second, so it's not great for capturing a slow-mo video of a dog catching a frisbee, but you have to cut costs somewhere, right? It will capture the moment most of the time and has a reasonably fast autofocus and shutter speed. One of the things I really liked is the operating system. It uses Oxygen OS, which is a really clean version of Android and is efficient right out of the box. The buttons are already programmed how you want them, with double tap the power to open the camera and long press the power to open your assistant. I like the button placement too. Also, there's a fingerprint reader on the back, which seems like a good spot. I never use this feature, but it's there. It also has face lock too, if you're into that sort of thing. It has USB-C charging, which is the norm, and I love this, it even comes with a charger. You can buy a $1,500 Apple phone and you don't get a charger. I mean, they claim it's for reducing emissions, but let's check to see how much a charger costs on Apple's site. Oh, 25 bucks, eh? Not bad. Oh, I need another cable too? Another 25 bucks? 50 bucks for a charger and a cable. Oh, Apple, they sure are smart, aren't they? Oh, and something I like, it has a headphone jack. You can charge and listen. Yay! Something I still use. Some people won't care. So with all those great features, what's the big drawback? Well, again, the camera is meh, and the processor is pfft. But you also miss out on water or splash proofing. Hey, sometimes I like to soak and browse. So for me, this is a feature I wish it had. And it doesn't have NFC, so you can't pay for things or pair things that way. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what else to say bad about this phone. So, should you buy it? At the price, it's a great phone. I think for most people who aren't into tech, if you let them use this phone, they wouldn't even notice the difference between it and maybe something 2 or even 3 times the cost. It has a surprisingly premium feel, and it would probably surprise them with how good it actually is. This is the phone you get when maybe it's been 4 or 5 years since your last upgrade, or you don't really care about the latest and greatest, or aren't brand loyal. You just want a phone that can do everything without spending too much. This is the kind of phone you buy for your kid's first phone, or for your parents or your grandparents, and they will be thrilled. This is the kind of phone that when you smash your premium phone at the beginning of your 2-year contract, you buy this to get you through the rest of that contract. Then after you spend some time with this, you start to think, maybe you should get another OnePlus phone. So yes, if cost is a factor, or you fall into one of the categories I just suggested, then you should buy it. Or if you know someone who is looking for a cheap phone, you should recommend it. I'm confident giving it my sad thumbs up when it comes to this being a great phone for the price point. It will be more than fine for the next couple of years. Everyone I know who gets a OnePlus phone is pleasantly surprised with its overall quality and performance for the price. Will it be my next phone? Well, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to find that out. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on The Sad Life. Oh, God. How much do you think it costs?
$10,000.
$10,000? Well, I have good news for you. What are you going to use it for?
YouTube.